Hey guys, it's Jean. Welcome back to my channel. Today it is Show and Tell Tuesday. I'm really hoping that this takes off. Mary Kay Jones got me into this, and we were doing it every Tuesday, but we've decided to do it once a month. So after this, I will do it again in July. Kind of worried that we might run out of things to show and tell. But today I am going to talk about my obsession. And it's going to be a little bit of history involved and all sorts of stuff. I hope it is not a boring video. But I have an obsession with dogs. You might not have really seen it in my videos. I mean, I do have Miss Amanda May here with me most of the time. And you've seen Stewie a couple of times. So when I was young, we had a dog. Her name was Duchess, and she was a part beagle, part collie. And when I was young, many years ago, I'm 53 now, so we're going to say I was probably around 6 is probably. We had a dog named Duchess, and way back then, there were leash laws, but we had a big house in Cold Spring, New York, and Duchess just roamed. She was in and out of the house. She roamed in the woods and the swamps, and she was around for a long time. After my parents got divorced, she came to live with us in Hyde Park, New York, but she wasn't, I don't want to say she wasn't happy, but she just needed that room to roam because she was that kind of dog. She just, she went wherever she went, and that was it. So she went back to live with my father and my stepmother, and she lived a long and a lovely life until she passed away. And I don't even know how old I was. But that was my first experience with a dog. And after that, I never really had dogs. We had cats. Cats were the thing. I didn't actually get my first dog until I was an adult. And, I really didn't know much about dogs. I was at my current job, and it was probably 12 years ago, maybe, when I got my first dog. My first dog was Roxy. And I knew nothing about puppy mills and buying dogs at, in those pet stores in the mall. I just thought, I didn't think much. I didn't know. And so my sister had gotten her dog, and she found a breeder online, and she got her dog, and I love her dog. And so I wanted the same breed. It was a designer breed, and it was called the Cavachon, and it's a Cavalier King Charles and a Bichon mix. And so I found a website, and I purchased Roxy, and Roxy got shipped to me, on a plane. I had to meet her at the airport, and it was love right away. She's a great dog. And she passed away probably 3 years ago. But she was my obsession. And that's how my obsession started. When I was even an adult, before I got Roxy, I was petrified of dogs. Was petrified of dogs growing up my whole life. Even though I had Duchess, I've been petrified. And I could go to my girlfriend's house, and she had 3 labs, and I would make her put them in cages because I was petrified. then I got Roxy, and she just like changed, opened up my whole world in my love for dogs. So she, when I met PJ, I had her, and I met PJ online. Yes, I was on an online dating service, and I met PJ. And you have a title when you go online, these online dating services. And my title was Must Love Dogs. And we met online, and lo and behold, when I met him, he's still a dog trainer, and he was working in a shelter, a dog shelter. And when I met him, he was living on the grounds of this one shelter, and he was taking care of several dogs, and it was basically a pit bull rescue. Now, you know, when you say pit bull, fear, everybody has a fear of pit bulls, and I absolutely did too. So the first time I went to his place, he had a pit bull, and these dogs that they cared for, lived with them, were, essentially their dogs. They were fostering that dog until it got adopted. So when I met him, and the first time I went to his place, I was very scared because it was a pit bull. And I met Martha. Her name was Martha Washington. And what a super dog she was. She was a smaller pit bull, but she was a pit bull. And at first I was nervous, but you know what? I just fell in love with her, and it was just awesome. She was a great dog. She got adopted out, and I met a lot of dogs, obviously pit bulls, when he worked at this rescue. While he was working at this rescue, he was also volunteering at another shelter in Dutchess County. So while he was volunteering, I would volunteer with him. So I did a lot of volunteering, and then he ended up working at this rescue, the second one that he used to volunteer at. He ended up getting a job there, and he worked there for a long time with dog training, and I would go and volunteer and walk dogs, and that's got to be and a lot of times when you go to a shelter, it's a sad place, or it feels like a sad place. That's how I felt when I would go to a shelter, and you see the dogs barking at the cages, or the ones that are kind of in the background, just kind of quiet, and it seemed sad. But when he started working at the second shelter, and I did volunteering, I realized that, you know what, yeah, it's sad to be in a shelter, but there were so many wonderful, especially the volunteers who would come, every day or every other day or a specific day of the week, and walk these dogs and train these dogs and just give them, as much love as they could. And God, there were so many dogs there that I just absolutely fell in love with. And, I would say to PJ, oh, can I have this one? Can I have this one? And, it just didn't, it wasn't, I just wanted every dog I saw. And PJ was like, I created a monster. And he did create a monster. So when he was working there, at the second shelter, these two dogs came in, and they were puppies, and we had an event that we were doing, and it's called Paws in the Park. And so the shelter would come, and there was a ton of volunteers, and like a volunteer would have a dog, and then you just, you'd have that dog, you take care of that dog for the day, you do the pet walk, and that's how I met Miss Amanda. Now, she had a sister that came in also, and when I first met Amanda, her name was Paris. So when I met her, just a little fuzzball of fluff and love, and I fell in love with her. And PJ was like, well, she has a potential adopter, and I was like, okay. I mean, I'm glad all these dogs get adopted, absolutely. But I was like, okay, well, she has an adopter, so I'm good with that. She got adopted, and a couple of days later, I was at home. I get a call from PJ, and he's like, are you still interested in Paris? And I'm like, yes, I am. He goes, because they returned her. She didn't get along with their dog. And I'm like, she's a puppy. I didn't understand it, but anyway, I was like, absolutely, I want her. And he goes, okay, you can adopt her, but we have to change her name. And I said, absolutely. And he was like, I want to name her. So PJ did a name Amanda. So she came in, she met Roxy, and they had, like siblings. It was a sibling relationship. Sometimes they fought. Sometimes they were, best buddies, and they really were best buddies. They would sleep together, lay together, and, just pretend like they didn't like each other. So after that, a dog was in the shelter, and her name was Luna. And she was a white German Shepherd, and I think she had some yellow lab in her as well. She was a big dog. And PJ, she was sick, and she was abandoned, and she came in, and they wanted to give her a good life, and she was a hospice dog. And that's when I met Luna, and Luna started my hospice dog career, I guess you could call it. We took Luna in. She was sick. She still had life in her. She didn't need to be put down right away. She wasn't suffering or anything like that, but she did have cancer. So we took her in, and she was the best dog ever. Her and Amanda were the best buddies. Roxy was, she was there. Roxy could care less. Roxy was very much a people dog. So anyway, we got Luna, and we had Luna for several months, and she was a joy, just a joy. And that was where my hospice journey for dogs started. And, we had her for a couple of months. She had a great life with us, and then we did have to put her down. And so that was a tough thing. The first time I ever had to put a dog down, and it was rough, very rough, because, the minute I meet a dog, I'm in love with them. So, we gave Luna the best couple of months that she had, and she had to be put down. And it was sad, but it was a great experience. So then we got another dog, Nina. And Nina came from the shelter as well, and she was a Boston Terrier mix of something, and she had the jaw that protruded out, and she had kidney disease. Wasn't sick enough to be put down, and so Nina was our second hospice dog. And Nina was a lap dog, and Nina loved me and my lap, and we had her for several months. She had to go weekly for fluids because of the kidney disease, and she was a great addition again to our family. Amanda didn't bother with her too much. Roxy and her got along very well. So, and it's funny because when you get these dogs, you know that eventually they're gonna, have to be put down because their diseases are gonna progress. And you kind of know when it's time. And I, came home from work one day and I looked at Nina and you just kind of knew it was time. She had to, had to be put down, which, again, it's tough, but I did it. And I like to say that, these dogs had the best homes for the rest of their, short life. So, my third and final hospice dog was Robbie. And before I talk about Robbie, the only way I was able to do this hospice was that any medical care that these dogs needed, was supplied by the shelters that they belong to. Otherwise, I could not afford medical care and that kind of thing for these dogs. So that was a good thing with these shelters. I gave them the love and the food and the roof over their head and the exercise and but they gave me any medical issues and medical stuff that needed to be done. That's how I could afford to take these dogs in. Third dog did not come from a shelter. My sister is a hospice nurse, and she was taking care of a patient who had an older dog, a Belgian Malinois, which is a type of German Shepherd. They're like a police dog type of dog. And his name was Robbie, and what a sweetheart. So the woman who my sister was taking care of, she had in her will that she wanted, as long as Robbie was alive, she wanted somebody to live in her house and take care of Robbie. Now, my sister knew that I was obviously doing these hospice dogs, and I couldn't live in the house. I couldn't, I had my own house, my own dogs, so we were talking to the caretaker, I guess, the caretaker of her will for Robbie. And I met Robbie, and what a sweet dog. What a sweet, sweet dog. And he loved the woman that had him, just absolutely adored her. And he had bad legs. He had a little bit of trouble, well, he had a lot of trouble walking. And I met the woman who was taking care of everything, and she came to my house, checked my house to see if, it would be a good fit for Robbie. My house did have some stairs to get into the house, so we were, that was going to be a little bit of an issue. She sent her son over. They built a ramp in my backyard to get up into the house, and Robbie came to live with us. Now, all his medical care was paid through the will. And medications and even food, which I didn't need to be paid for because food is just a part of having a dog. Robbie had a special diet. He got real food. So he had boiled chicken and potatoes and sweet potatoes. And I would every couple of days prepare his meals. And he was a wonderful dog. We didn't have him for long because he clearly missed his owner. I mean, he was great with us. I would take him for walks, and he was a good dog. Never had any issues with Amanda or Roxy, and so, but he clearly missed his owner, and he couldn't settle. He had a hard time settling down and relaxing, and he would wander back and forth, kind of looking for her. So it was kind of tough, but we tried to give him the best, however long he had, and I loved him dearly. And he was having some issues, so we went to the vet, and the vet said, it's probably time to put him down. He's, older. He was like 16. Big dogs don't live quite that long, so That was, so Robbie had to be put down. So that was, you know, those were my 3 hospice dogs, and I just loved it so much. But PJ's no longer in the shelter business. He works in a quote normal job now, and so we just have our particular dogs. So I hope that wasn't too long and drawn out, but I'm gonna show you my obsession now. I have dogs, something dog related in every room of my house. I have a memory section of all my past dogs, and I'm just gonna click off, and I'm gonna just show you around and show you a little bit of my obsession. So I will be right back, and we will take a little tour of my dog obsession. Okay, so first thing you see when you walk into my front door is the Beware Guard Lasso Opso on duty. That would be Miss Amanda. And wipe your paws. So you guys are going to see a lot of stops and starts as I cruise through my apartment showing you my dog obsessions. Okay, so next up in my kitchen, on my cork board, we have this. This is Duchess, the therapy dog. And she sadly passed away, I believe, last year. What an awesome dog she was. PJ knew the owner and trainer. She was a therapy dog. She was blind. And she was the best dog. She would go to all different, when we had fairs, like our county fair, there would be the canine tent. And in that tent would be the lots of rescue groups and some different groups of dogs that were, they were like dock diving dogs and frisbee dogs and that kind of thing. And Duchess would be in there as well, and she was just a love. She was the best therapy dog ever. On top of Duchess, we have Polly. Polly was my first dog that I fell in love with at the shelter. She was just so cute. She was, she liked to carry rocks in her mouth. That was her favorite thing to do. And she had gotten adopted, and as far as I know, she's still with a wonderful family. PJ has seen her on one of our walkways, and she was just one that I absolutely loved. I loved when I volunteered at the shelter. I would walk her, and she was just a love. A few things that say Roxy on them from the different Roxy items that I have purchased in my lifetime, I guess. And of course, there's a card. I'll meet you at Rainbow Bridge. It's where all the puppies go when they pass on. So we're gonna move right over here, and we have Stewie, PJ's dog. Excuse me. PJ adopted Stewie from the shelter that he worked at. And the shelter did different things to, you know, get their dogs adopted. And at one point they had done these type of wanted signs for the different dogs. And that was Stewie's. I'm so happy that I have Stewie's. And next to him is this print that I got years and years and years ago at IKEA, long before I met PJ. And I just kind of find it interesting that Stewie looks like this print, or this print looks like Stewie. So that's my Stewie corner. We come over here, and I have a photo that somebody took in New York City for the Roxy Delicatessen. which of course I had to frame, which is awesome. This is my dog walking station. I got flashlights, doggy bags, bug spray, her leash, and her winter coat, and some gardening gloves. Okay, we are over at my refrigerator, and I have this cute little old postcard, which PJ had gotten at a flea market somewhere, and of course, I took it. Just a few magnets of different dogs. I love my mutt. Just some magnets. You know, just different stuff on the fridge because, you know, can't have too much dog stuff. And we come over here to the sink area, and I have a doggy cookie cutter, a little doggy pitcher, and a doggy ring holder, and my salt and pepper shakers, which are the two little Yorkies, and they are attached by a magnet. And they just click right back together. So I got those, I'm sure, in a thrift store somewhere. And I have a print that is on my wall as well. So I think, yes, that is everything in my kitchen. Right next to my sink, I have this cookie jar that my sister gave to me, and it has the names of all my beloved dogs, past and present. As we enter my bedroom, I have a picture of PJ and one of the dogs that was picked up from a kill shelter in one of the southern states. A lot of shelters would go to the southern states where they have kill shelters and, you know, just try to rescue more dogs and bring them up north here. So that is one of PJ's favorite dogs. I wish I could remember the name, but I can't. Over here, I have these two prints: To Err is Human, To Forgive is Canine. Dogs are not our whole life, but they make our lives whole. And I have a Lhasa Apso Christmas ornament. And I have a photo of, this is me and Roxy. Roxy was in a photo shoot for JCPenney. And there is a photo of her hanging in the photography studio many years ago. I don't even know if they still do that anymore. But so we had a photo shoot, and that's one of the photos. Then we're going to come around, and guys, I'm sorry, my room is a mess. My whole apartment's a mess. Been just crazy busy. Behind my bed, we have Always Kiss Your Dog Goodnight. That is something I got at Job Lot, I believe. And then over here, we have this little statue. PJ and I are thinking it's made out of some sort of coal or something. This was picked up at a thrift store in Kentucky. And I'll tell you more about that thrift store in just a moment. So over here is a dresser, and on it I have my little homage to my Roxy. Roxy was Santa Claus, a very close-up picture that I love of Roxy. And this is a photo that someone had framed for me, which I just love. That is the epitome of Miss Roxy. And if you're not aware, Roxy, the name Roxy is a clothing, well, there's a clothing and accessories and shoes company. And my sister had found this sweater, and of course she got it for me. It was too small, so I made it into I stretched it over a canvas and made it into a wall hanging. So I have that for my Miss Roxy. Okay, and this is my memory corner, I guess you could say. I have this saying, dogs leave paw prints on our hearts, and a Roxy ball cap PJ found for me in a thrift store. Oops, and there it goes. Okay, I'll get that up in a minute. And this is my more Roxy memories. Roxy when she was a puppy, another photo of in our photo shoot. Yes, this is Roxy's ashes, her paw print, and some of her fur. And sorry, I didn't dust, and I need to dust. And then on the next shelf, we have Miss Luna. So I have her with her favorite pink pig, and she was just such a sweet pup. And yes, I have her ashes and her paw print. And then if we go down one shelf further, this is Nina. And Nina was just such a cuddle bug. She loved being on your lap. And so that is her. And yes, I do have her ashes as well. And on the bottom shelf, I have a picture of Duchess, the first family dog. And I have, these are Robbie's ashes, Robbie's collar and his paw print. So I don't have any photos of Robbie. Most of the stuff I have are videos. So I'm going to have to get a photo of Robbie and add it to my memory shelf. Okay, so this is behind my couch, which I do sometimes film on. We have a wonderful picture of Amanda and Roxy with Santa. And then there's Amanda when she was just a puppy with Santa. This is just a wooden statue that I got. I just thought it looked old and worn out and just perfect. Something I picked up at a flea market. And then over here, I do have this that I picked up at the same thrift store in Kentucky, and just a little print in the back. Now, about that thrift store, PJ and I took a ride to Kentucky. We were on our way on vacation, and we went to Apparitions, I think. Apparitions is the name of the thrift store. And if you know the YouTuber Alexander Ryan, she's one of the bigger YouTubers, and I've been following her forever. And she owns this thrift store. And we specifically went there. Well, I specifically went in there because I wanted to meet her, which I did. And what a sweet, sweet, sweet girl she is. Her shop is amazing. Prices are great. So, yeah, it was a thrill to meet her. And actually, I talked about YouTube with her, and she was actually my very first subscriber. And PJ was my second. So that's that. Okay. And these are most of my figurines, my dog figurines. And this in the back here, this is a planter. This one is also a planter. And I believe that one's a planter too. This is a wooden carved dog that PJ's father carved. He was a wood carver. And we have some salt and pepper shakers. And that is just all I'm very particular when I purchase dog stuff because I don't have a lot of room. So it's got to have something that I like about it. And a lot of these stuff PJ also purchased for me. So let's go over to this side. Oh, a little stiff. And I just have some more. And everything is just, they're just my favorites. I just love them. And I also have back here, this is another photo of Roxy and Amanda with Santa. And if we come over here, amidst Amanda's toys, I have this very tall that I got at Pier 1. PJ got me that one. And this is a doorstop that I got at a thrift store. And then over here are also two other thrift finds, doorstops. Actually, this one was PJ's, and he gave that to me. So, okay, and finally we come over to my bookshelf. And these are just a sampling of my dog books. And there they are. I also have this photo of Jack Hanna, who is more wildlife, but I did meet him at a theater in Westchester County, New York. Met him. He signed this for me. So that was truly exciting. I do have some more books over here. These are books basically about shelter dogs. This one was written about the shelter that PJ worked at, and it includes all the dogs that were in the shelter at that time. This is another very exciting moment. PJ and I went to see Cesar Millan, and one of his coworkers gave him these 2 tickets, and they were great seats. And we were driving, and we were looking for a parking spot. And as we drove past, Cesar was standing outside, and I was like, "Stop the car!" So we stopped the car, and we got to meet him, and it was so exciting. I did do a little better meeting him than I did with Stephen King. And we went in and watched his show, and it was great. So that was another exciting time in my life. We have a few more. I definitely have some Cesar's books that I'd had before I met him, and a few other dog books. This Rescue Inc. They were a group out of either Long Island or New York City, and they did rescue for, they did shelters, so they did dogs and cats and all sorts of animals. And this guy I did meet at an event that we had, that one of our shelters had, that we were at. And up here is just a photo of Roxy and Amanda, and they were kind of cuddling, and it was just such a cool shot that I had to, Amanda was still a puppy then. And so they were just kind of hanging out, and I just thought that was a cool shot, so I had to take that as well. Okay, guys, so that was my obsession with dogs and all my doggy stuff. I hope this wasn't a boring video. I certainly like to do it. I certainly like to show you guys a little bit more of my obsession. And, you know, I hope that some of you guys do this show and tell Tuesday, because it's just a way to get to know somebody a little bit more. And it's fun. I enjoy it, and it's different than unboxings and unbaggings, which of course I love doing, but it's just, you know, a little bit of a change. So I hope that some of you guys please do this, because I would thoroughly love to watch them. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it was a little shaky, little thumbs in there, fingers in there, and my house is a little messy. So my excuse for that is I'm working a lot, and I probably should have cleaned it up before I did the video. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are new, this is just something that I've been started on. Well, I didn't start it. Mary Kay Jones started it, and I just jumped on the bandwagon. So if you like this video, guys, please give me a thumbs up. If you are new, please hit that subscribe button. I do love getting new subscribers. And to my current subscribers, thanks for watching. I know this video was a bit long, but it's just a little bit of me that I could show to everybody. So, all right, guys, I hope everybody is staying safe and healthy, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.